then you don't. So, yeah, that's what I'm talking about today, because I said I would. Alex Sheen's dad died September 14th, 2012. Now, you probably don't know who Alex Sheen is. And his dad's name was Al. And Alex Sheen just thought his dad was great. And he was thinking about him after he died, and he thought, you know, the only time I ever saw my dad angry was when he encountered people that didn't say what they were, didn't follow up with and do what they said they were going to do. That's the only time Al, who was an immigrant from Hong Kong, who immigrated to this country when he was 17, it's the only time that he ever got angry was when people didn't do what they said they were going to do. So, when Alex did his eulogy, that's what he talked about, is how Al always did what he said he was going to do. And at the conclusion of the eulogy, he said to the people that he had made these little cards. Says, because I said I would. And he said, you know, to honor my dad, just keep a little promise. Just make a little promise and keep it. That's how you could honor my dad. And so then he went home, Alex went home, and he was, and is, a computer geeky guy, and worked for a computer marketing company. And so he opened a new web page, Facebook page, for his dad. And he said, here's my dad, here we are, photos of him. And I'll give 10, because I said I would, cards to the first 100 people that contact me. So his premise was that you write a promise on a card and you give it to somebody, and then when you complete your promise, when you do what you said you would do, then get it back from them as a little bit of a reward. Well, Alex was inundated by requests for the cards, and he had a problem with fulfilling his promise to give cards to people who asked. So he formed a nonprofit organization that is called Because I Said I Would. And so far now, since September 14, 12, he has sent cards to over 40 countries and like 500,000 cards. And it's just snowballed. And the stories are fascinating. So I'll tell you two of them and that touched me. I'll probably cry. Brace yourself. You know, we ought to just put tissue around everywhere, so, you know. So, he got an email from somebody named Matthew Cordell. And Matthew Cordell said he killed a man. And he was drinking and driving, and he had an accident, and a man died. And Matthew Cordell's agreement to do what he said he would, because I said I would, he agreed to take full responsibility for his action. And so Alex helped him put together a PSA that, and Matthew hadn't turned himself in yet. So Alex helped him get a PSA, together a PSA that showed on YouTube, and it got 2 million hits. And then Matthew Cordell went and turned himself in to be responsible for his actions. Wow, that's powerful, I think. And so Alex was really getting inundated with requests and with stories. And he decided that he would have to quit his job. He just couldn't do both of these things, organize a nonprofit for which he was taking no income, and work. And he was worried and nervous about telling his boss that he was going to quit. And just the day that he decided he would get the courage to do that, he went to work, and there was an envelope, a blank envelope on his desk with a note. And the note was from a 14-year-old girl who, in essence, said that she had been thinking about committing suicide, but she had decided, because of Alex and his work, that she would stick around. And so she committed to living. There was no signature, and he didn't know how this envelope had showed up at his desk. But he thought, wow, this is the sign I need, and this is the courage I need to go tell my boss that I'm quitting. So he went into her office and he said, I want you to read this note, and then we'll talk. And can you guess the rest of the story? It was her daughter.
The boss's daughter? Yeah.
That had written that note. And she recognized the paper and she recognized the handwriting. So, she was certainly encouraging Alex to quit his job. So, you know, why am I talking about this besides it gives me an opportunity to cry? The reason I'm talking about it is because it calls me, and remember I always speak in the first person because I don't know about you, what's going on in your mind, but it calls me to stand in integrity. And when I talk about integrity, I maybe talk about it a little bit different than some people may understand it. When I talk about integrity, I'm talking about standing in alignment with my spirit, my universal connection to the divine. And so when I stand in integrity, I am absolutely connected to the one that called me to this place. And so I have to look back and examine my life and see the places that I have stood in integrity, that I have done what I said I would do because I said I would, and other places and other times that I'm a little iffy. Now, since I've started thinking about this, it's really brought my life into focus. And so I know that for a time, Ruiz's 4 agreements hung on this wall back here. And the first one is what? To be impeccable with your word. Not because you set yourself up for judgment from other people. Not because you are letting other people down. I stand in my personal integrity because when I do not do what I say I'm going to do, there is that silent witness that listens. And I am actually demeaning my relationship with Spirit. I cannot be my highest and best unless I am impeccable with my word, unless I do what I say that I'm going to do. And I don't have to speak my word to anyone else necessarily because of that silent witness that always, like we talked about Stanley, riding in your back pocket. Always that passenger that travels with you and knows whether you're in alignment, whether you're in integrity with your universal essence, your soul, whatever language you want to use. And we all have different words for it, but we know what we're talking about when we're in alignment with the divine. So I have to think, what are some of the things that I have stated my intention to be? We've got the box over here with the New Year's resolutions or the New Year's intentions that many of you wrote out. How's that working for you? How is that working for me? I've done some things that I said I was going to do, and I haven't done some things that I said I was going to do. To be in integrity with my universal spirit, with the divine, those are things that I must complete because they are callings to me from spirit. When you get an idea, when you get an intention, that is so much more than you thinking you ought to do something. It is a calling. It's that universal voice, that witness that is calling you to action. So I've been very moved by Alex Sheen and Because I Said I Would work. And then I'm called to ask, as a community, how are we doing with those values that we initially said that we were going to live by? You remember that? We agreed as a community to love in spirit, to live in love, live in spirituality, to live in character, in caring, and in live in gratitude. How's that working for you? Are we fulfilling our obligation to the universe by living those values that we said that we were going to live? I used to work with a bunch of women that I love. They were addicts. And, in the recovery community, there's a phrase that says, trying's lying. Trying's lying. If you say you're going to try, that's a lie. You either are or you're not. Trying's lying. So I have to think, now, where am I standing in integrity? And where am I doing what I said I'm going to do? And where am I not? Last week I told Rhonda that I was going to loan her a DVD of The Way. I got here and I don't have it. I looked for it, but I couldn't find it. Trying's lying. Sorry I lied to you.
I don't want it.
I'll find it. You'll love it. stuff adds up. But the most important thing about keeping your word, about because I said I would, is the agreement that you have with the divine. When you accept an idea and you think that it's an intention that you're going to take action on, then if I don't do that, then I am chinking away at my divine connection. I am not acknowledging and living a life of integrity, living a life in alignment with the divine essence that called me here. So I've made some cards for all of us. And I had to ask Erin to just sort of fill them out. Little cards.
I'm not going to fill them all out.
No.
I'll pass them out.
That reminds me of something. While she's doing that, I want to say, Erin is getting ready to go on vacation. And I am so happy for her. I am sincerely happy for her. And yet, I very selfishly am unhappy for myself because she's going to be gone for 2 weeks. And I just, 3.
Tell them how she's going.
Yes. So she's on an adventure. And we're going to hold her in prayer. She and her friend Barry, who has a private plane, a small plane, they're flying throughout Alaska. I know. It's an adventure of a lifetime, and we're all envious, I think, and yet I'm going to miss her a lot. So here you have these cards, because I said I would. And if you are so moved to make a commitment to yourself or to someone else, I would invite you to do that and give it to somebody to hold for you. And then when you've done it, ask for it back as a little reward. Some of the very short little, because I said I would, anecdotes that moved me were a little girl holding a card. She's like 7 years old. I will sleep in my own bed. I will not bite my fingernails. I will clean that garage. I will find that DVD. When we agree within ourselves to any action, we are making an agreement with Spirit. After I have read this article about Because I Said I Would, Alex Sheen, I don't take that lightly any longer. And I invite you this week to give it some thought. This is a commitment I'm making to you right now. I love each one of you, and I hold you in prayer each day. Namaste. So I would invite the practitioners and Reverend Aaron to join me in prayer. As we hold this community in our loving arms of support and commitment to know the highest and best for each one. I invite you to join with me in that place where you are deeply and richly connected with the divine. That place where you stand in integrity and in alignment with the creative force and source that unites us all. In that secret, silent space and place, I agree to stand in integrity. I agree to express to the best of my ability my divine nature through love, through spirituality, through gratitude, and through caring. That's what I have said I would do. And I absolutely know that when I make those declarations, that part of the universal whole that I call the law, that part of the universe that steps forward to fulfill my word, is stepping forward to support me, to aid me, to give me courage and strength to be impeccable with my word, to do what I say I'm going to do because I said I would. I'm grateful for the peace and the power that comes with that unification with the divine. I know it is good. I declare it. I claim it with love. And I invite you to join with me as we say, and so it is. Thank you. Going to have another congregational song.